site. We're at the campsite. This is not a very private place. There's even a Cybertruck there. This place gets a lot of visitors, and it's not a place for a private experience, to be honest with you. It's kind of gotta have your people hat on here. I slept not too far from the road, but I have some sleep buds, so I was able to actually not be bothered, and that's why I have them for these sorts of reasons. But I woke up, there's a Cybertruck, busy parking lot, everybody's navigating those sketchy stairs, so that's got to be kind of interesting. I'm surprised surprised the stairs are that bad. I think some people that could be pretty difficult. So yeah, just gonna get up to speed here, and then we'll probably head into the beach here in a little bit. See a fair bit of plastic on the beach today. We talked about that coming in, how sometimes there's just different currents and resulting in different things. So, you know, obviously there's always some bits of plastic, but there's a fair bit more today. So that's not the greatest, but hey, it's life. The tide is pretty far back out again. I slept in a little bit later than I'd wanted to, but I needed the rest, so I slept like a baby, so that's good. And actually, maybe you shouldn't say sleep like a baby, because babies don't usually sleep that great, right? So I slept like a 20-year-old that was really tired, so out like a light. Alright, see ya. Look at all of this this kelp, right? These things hold fast, and they hold on the ocean floor or onto a rock or something along the ocean floor, and then these things grow up into up towards the surface and have big leaves that photosynthesize. And there's a lot more to those giant kelp in terms of what makes them interesting species. I think they're what's called like a macroalgae. They don't have any vasculature, like they don't have any conduits that are moving around nutrients like vascular plants do. You know, we're vascular, we have blood. So, you know, we have blood cells, and we have, you know, veins and arteries and such. And all you medical folks can talk a lot more than me, but anyways, those macroalgae are interesting. And they're also edible, and they're hollow on the inside. So you kind of make them into a flute or something. You can blow through them and make sounds and stuff. Anyways, we won't be eating that stuff today. I've got all sorts of stuff I brought with me, but that was an interesting giant bunching of it that's all been dried up. And there's the lodges up here. I've never stayed there. I've heard good things. There's little like cabins, and you can stay in like the lodge itself. Seems pretty cool. We're gonna just hike past that and keep on going. How old that is. I mean, just the tree itself grew to be like well over 500 years, and then how long has it just been tossed and turned around? I mean, it's pretty incredible. Wow. Okay. I just climbed up into the slope a little bit. You can see how thick it is back here. Just a lot of salal, moss, downed vegetation, these different types of spruces. I mean, they're dealing with a lot of salt spray, so only certain species can handle this, but it's pretty cool back here. Very spongy, very thick, very irregular. And it almost looks like, yeah, it's pretty cool back here. Salal produces these berries that you can eat. Let's see if we can go through here back to the driftwood area. Damn. Coastal hiking can be really strenuous with the sand and climbing over logs. And I mean, obviously hiking in the forest without a trail is brutal. We take these trails for granted. But it's pretty cool. It's fun kind of bushwhacking around because you start to really get a feel for the land more, and you also start to say, you know, that little strip that I walk on, it's pretty nice. You can actually move faster than half a mile an hour. So I always wear my boots because I need all the extra support. I have some ankle issues anyhow because that was my deck of cards. So this is a minefield for your ankles and legs, but we're just gonna cruise across here. Check this out. This giant beam here has got these metal ties pushed into them, and they look old. I mean, see how irregularly shaped they are? I mean, these were handmade one at a time with these washers or rings. I don't know, but it's got to be pretty old, I would imagine. I'll have to look up. Baldigo. It's like a crab trap that broke free and got caught in the mud here. You know, they bait these things, crabs go in, they can't get out. You come back and pick up your net, but this guy is half thick in mud and empty. Free crab trap if someone needs one. Just let me know. I'll dig it up and bring it back. I'm gonna go check out that little waterfall. And then we're gonna go see if we can see any sort of tidal. Maybe we'll see some starfish or anemones. If I said that correctly, I always mispronounce that, so. Here's a pretty cool spot, this little mini waterfall. That spruce is perfectly aligned. Again, it's taking a lot of salt spray, just even in the air, you know. And again, a lot of this material is sedimentary. It's not like in the Cascades, this tough igneous rock, you know, this stuff erodes. You can see the layering. Look at that. So, perfect piece of that geology, the sedimentary material that's been accreted and then just compacted and churned and compressed. And it's a geologist's dream out here, I hear, because there's just so many crazy things going on. Pretty cool. I'm gonna see if we can see anything cool in these tide pools. Stay tuned. Look at all these barnacles. There's different types too. Then there's these things called limpets. And then those are barnacles. And they have a little gate on them. See the little door? And there's an organism in there, and when the water levels get up, the door opens and these little villi come out and fish food out of the little bits of plankton and stuff out of the water. And these are much bigger, these gooseneck barnacles. I believe they also have one of the longest gonopodiums, which is not anything anybody really wished they knew. But now you know too. And I'm not going to say any more. You can Google that. What is a barnacle gonopodium? Got to keep this PG-13, kids. These are anemones, and they're covered in gravel, but they'll bloom in the water, and those will open up, and these villi will come out. I believe that's how they filter feed, but they're an animal. And then look at these giant, I think those are acorn barnacles. I forget what those are called, giant, but they're giant ones. And the organism in there is huge. I mean, just look at the variation between these and these. Really something. Now, you don't want to eat these guys because these little mussels and clams can have a lot of contaminants in them. There's bacteria that grow in the water. Of course, back in the day, you could eat these sorts of things. I mean, you could come along the coast and just fill yourself, but there's so many toxins in the water, and a lot of it also is in the runoff. And these things pose a human health risk. You can get really, really sick. And you can get like a nervous system disorder, and you can die and get paralysis and stuff. It's gnarly. So, and sometimes in some of these survival shows, those guys will risk it. Kind of see we came from that way. And you can see these really impressive sandstone layers. I mean, look at that. This stuff was, again, accreted, pushed in, conveyor belted in. And looks like a pastry or something, pastry dough. It's so fine, those layerings. And I don't know, probably somewhere in my brain, I used to know a little bit more about these things, but I don't remember much about the sandstone. It's very old. I know that much. Pretty sure, in the millions. And Earth was very different then, but it's here now, pushed upwards, just sitting on the Washington coast in this kind of, obviously this was winter time. This relatively very temperate but wet climate. Just beautiful in the summer. Of course, in the summer, it's a lot busier. There's just a lot of people. So, interesting time to show up. Try to take advantage of a dry weekend on the coast because it's been wet every time I check the forecast. I check these out. Are definitely alive. Like, see, it's alive. Crazy. I think to me, these sea organisms, these marine organisms, are as close to aliens as we have. I mean, they're very alien-like. Here's a jellyfish. Oh. And they have no mobility in terms of being able to control themselves, like no motility. They just float around however chance deems. Yeah, coast is a good place. This is a good place to refill your mental pot. It's a rugged coastline. But the air is just so crisp and clean, and the ties to the Pacific and these, Pacific marine organisms, tidal organisms, it's just so cool. All these different types of geology. The history of the Olympic Peninsula is so rich. And, now just factor in the natural history with all the human inhabitants. And that's a whole nother tale. It's a very rich area. And it'd be nice if we could protect our oceans More so because, as you've seen in the videos, you know, the bits of plastic, and we talk about, you know, the red tide, aka all these organisms you can't eat anymore. It's just, and you know, the water runoff that is that double filter. It's just not super awesome. And obviously these solutions are not easy, but it'd be nice if we could. Every time I come to this area, you know, I think that this area will make you advocate for the oceans. It's a great, great, great community of life. And marine mammal, these marine birds, by the way, are, ooh, there's a starfish there too, crumpled up. And the Pacific starfish. You know, the marine birds are down, I think they say by a third to a half of their numbers in the 1970s. Ooh, there's another starfish. Ooh, that one might be a little bit more interesting. It looks like I might have more than 5. We'll have to take a look at that when we get home. Wow. Waxing towards full, and then we've got this cool, amazing ocean and tide that's slowly coming in. So